episode 78 of Inside the Rapper Studio. We got Amorous, Ebony on. As you can see, we're in the lovely outdoors of my front porch. House is a little crowded. I mean, the studio is a little crowded, sorry. So, basically, I want to move and shake things about. Today we got Amorous, Ebony on. We're going to be talking about being a vocal phenom, talking about modeling and musing within, like, the plus-size era. Also talking about work within the community that she does. Also talking about sex work in 2020. There's a lot to go through in this episode. Regular old day, man. Can't complain. We got Smash League starting up, Saturday Night Smash. Once the details get folded out, I'll give you guys some more as they come along. You know how these things go. Huge shouts out to K. Simone for popping in early. Yeah, just a regular week for, Inside the Rapper Studio. Everything's been going fine. Everything's been like, no huge mess ups yet. Because I know IG is IG. We know how these things go. But yeah, it should be a good show nonetheless. Hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday, hump day. I was supposed to get some things done today, but man plans got laughs. So it was more so of a chill day. Trying to get things in order for, not just this project, love a double feature, as well as this league, and as well as moving forward with Inside the Rapper Studio. So I'm going to take a quick message to Ebony and see if we can get things started. Hopefully everybody's having a good Wednesday, as I said. I repeat a lot on this show, and I really don't be realizing that shit until like later on. It's like, nigga, you just said that shit like 7 times. But yeah, hopefully the noise isn't too crazy. Since I'm outside, it's going to be like cars driving by. I want it to be more of a nature-filled episode of Inside the Rapper Studio. This would be my second episode going outside. The last episode I did with Keith the Vandal. Huge shouts out to Keith the Vandal. That was pretty cool. We did some cool things. Wasn't too crazy with volume and everything like that, at least from what I heard. But yeah, hopefully this episode will go pretty smooth, being though it's outside. Huge shouts out to Ricky Jacobs, by the way. Huge shouts out to Candace. So a few things going on in Baltimore. Speaking of great things that are being done with car certs, I really love what's going on with car certs. That's Ricky Jacobs' side project, as well as Liquor with Friends. It really goes to show that strong people within the scene. Sound like Swayze. Hold on. Sound like Swayze? That works for me. But yeah, it's a lot of great things going on with car certs and Liquor with Friends, and it's a really strong brand that's going on. So hopefully you guys can check that out as well. I'm almost certain everybody's checking out this versus DMX Snoop Dogg thing, which I would love to too, but I'm already scheduled to go. So hopefully there can be some footage and stuff like that with afterwards, so I won't feel like I'm missing out on things, and you guys won't feel like you're missing out on things, because I'm pretty sure everybody wants to watch that kind of stuff. But yeah, I do appreciate you guys for stopping in, even with the live broadcast going on. It does mean a lot to me, trust me. It's a pretty hot ticket, not just for everybody, but I would love to see that shit as well. But man plans got laughs. Hopefully Ab can come on pretty soon. It's only so far I can ad-lib, you know what I mean? Especially as a host. Like, I think I do a pretty good job with ad-lib until people come on. And I haven't done that in a while, ever since, like, Swayze TV Live, honestly. So, I'm fine juggling shit, you feel me? Speaking of, if Ricky's still in this place, huge shouts out to Neon Gene for stopping by. Applause, damn it. If Ricky's still on, he's not still on. But, yeah, I would love to join, like, Cautious, especially for this project that I'm about to drop. I guess since I got you guys here and Ev's not here, I guess I can start peddling some fucking promo for myself. Love a double feature coming very, very soon, August 15th, 2020. It's a 2-part project. The first part is an EP. Yo, you be killing the... stop it. Stop it. Stop it. I do that shit for y'all. I spent way too much money just to entertain you people. So hopefully that shit can come back with energy and actual support and stuff like that. Especially when Double Feature comes out. And I would love for you guys to support that. But yeah, it's a 2-part project. First part is TWFNS, inspired by Rob Van Dam and everybody that's in ECW. Also, part 2 is going to be PBS, Pretty Boy Syndrome. Most of those songs are pretty much throwaways, and it's just me not really holding on to these songs anymore, so I'd rather give that to the people that's been supporting me for this long, instead of just hoarding the music. So it's pretty much my birthday gift to you guys. Big Turf in the goddamn building. How are you? It's always great to see Big Turf in the goddamn live. I thought I hit wave, but I didn't hit wave. Now I hit wave. But yeah, that's going on. Since you guys are already here, I might as well start plugging some more shit. I got new merch coming out, partnering with, not Inside the Rapper Studio, partnering with, What a Maneuver for this new project that's coming out. Hopefully you guys will like that, check that out, and really enjoy it. Also, there's a few things going on with, the world of Swayze. Doing a lot of partnership work with Demo Tape and Work Entitled. Huge shouts out to those guys, by the way. They're doing really great things within media in Baltimore. Not just media in Baltimore, but young media in Baltimore. I was speaking recently to someone about how kind of radio is dying a slow death. But honestly, when it comes to radio, I really don't think it'll last that long, and I'd much rather be the final nail in the coffin. Oh, we got an icy boy in the building. Huge shouts out to Benjamin Banger. Yeah. I'm glad I can do stuff like that because my guest isn't here yet. Hopefully we can get that wrapped up soon. I'm living my ass off right now. But yeah, I got that going on. I got a video coming out really soon. Hopefully I can get this, what's it called? Get this trailer out the way. So, speaking of goddamn devil, we are in the building. Alright, let's get it started. Hopefully, everything goes smoothly connection-wise. Hopefully you are connected to Wi-Fi. I'm assuming that you are.
Listen, this internet is terrible. Do you hear me?
That's an early warning, so I'm going to take an early warning. So I'm already on my toes with this one. All right. So.
Hello.
What's that, water?
No, it's actually a little concoction. I like to recycle my bottles.
Ooh, you are a jar lady. Got you a jar lady. So, everybody, welcome to another exciting episode of Inside the Rapper Studio. Episode 78 to be exact. Of course, I'm your host, Score Swayze, and today we have a very, very, very special guest in the building. Does a lot of work within the community, does a lot of sex work workshops, also does a lot of work musically. She is a vocalist. She's a model. She's a muse. She's amazing. There. As well as Amorous. So everybody, please drop hearts, drop likes, drop comments for the one, the only, Amorous Ebony.
Thank you so much. Listen, it feels good to be here. Thank you so much for having me on today. Excuse me in advance for my internet. Again, I migrated from home to the shop so that I could actually have a better internet, and it seems that nobody is letting me be great. So,
we don't like that at all. We gotta let
We don't. Hey, Candace girl.
So how is everything today for you, Ebony?
Yeah, so everything's been cool. Today has been interesting. I immediately was like, wow, I'm excited for this interview. And then here comes the clouds, and here comes the thunder, and here comes the rain. And I'm just like, okay, we already know what's about to happen now. Here we go. But other than that, just a great day. Schedules picking back up, getting more and more things lined up in the midst of this chaos. So, that's feeling good.
That's good. Well, we might as well get things started. With every episode of Inside the Rapper Studio, there's an origin story told from the bottom of the screen. So, could you tell us how everything got started musically for the artist we all know and love as Amorous Ebony?
Yes. And so Wow, music. So music has been a part of my life since being a little girl. Very early on, pre-K kindergarten, I had vocal lessons and I was doing performances. I was in the theater. I actually went to school for theater and got a degree in theater. And Music was always a part of my life. I grew up listening to a lot of old school music. So you have the Temptations, you have Blue Magic, the Delphonics, you have the Stylistics. Of course, you have 90s R&B, you have 80s, the 70s though. That is my era. That's the era I love. I love that music. I love that energy. Everything was very black, very proud. And that is an era that I cherish so much. But yeah, like started performing a lot with Benjamin Sanders, who's a older guy, actually became my guitarist some years ago. And I started working with him. And that's how I kind of like started to get my feet wet in the community. Started working with Creasol, with Mia, as well as a bunch of us, DPDMC, Cherie, Graffiti Tech. We were all a collective called Creasol, and you were there for the birth of that magic, and you got to perform and started doing open mics really heavily, and then started doing some touring and started just performing as much as I could. Then later on, I would meet all these phenomenal musicians and, end up in these circles. And listen, the rest is history. The rest is history. So.
Yeah. I'm actually glad that you brought up that Creasol thing, because
Yes.
not a lot of people actually bring up Creasol to
Mm-hmm.
actually talk about the community work that they did back in the early 2010s. Quite frankly, I owe a lot to fucking Creasol.
Oh yeah, same.
For those that don't know, I actually got my first show from Creasol. It was fresh out the oven. It was January of 2012.
Yes.
Mia gave me that shot. I'm not gonna lie, I did a horrible job, but the opportunity in itself was amazing. So huge shouts out to Mia and huge shouts out to everybody that's been working with Creasol. Could you tell us your experience working within a group like that?
Oh my gosh. It was really like a mountain pot. So Crisol is a Spanish verb of the word cristol, and it's like a melting pot. So we were a melting pot of artists and performers. And Mia is such a whiz and just amazing at curating and creating and just organizing folks together that, we had so many opportunities. We got a chance to travel to Philly, to Pittsburgh, to connect, meet with artists who till this day are still like tight. And we got a chance to have these experiences and work with these venues. Terra Cafe was the very first venue that we worked with having this open mic. It's before it was Terra Cafe, actually, it was Bohemian Coffee House. And Bohemian Coffee House, I forget what that is called now, but it was Bohemian Coffee House. And that was down the street, actually, from Terra Cafe, which would later become a more permanent venue. And then at some points, Grindhouse became it, and then Beats, Bars, and Brushes. All that stuff came out of Creasol. So, it was just beautiful working with artists and being able to do your own thing. And it really helped me with the organizing piece, because I also have a degree in urban art studies, which is being able to organize and create. So working with nonprofit management and all that good stuff as well. And this was very much like that. So learning how to go and deposit and do different things under, an organization, being able to pay artists, being able to oversee, a roster. This is what my all the things the artist needs. This is what's going to take for us to break the bank tonight. This is what it's going to take for X, Y, and Z. All of that stuff was just like so much Ujamaa, cooperative economics. It was just fantastic. And, it was a wonderful experience. And I always cherish that. Man. So, yeah.
Not to break fourth wall or anything, but I just love when I ask one question and they give me everything I wanted in that answer.
Yes. I am thorough. Thoroughbred, yes.
Thoroughness is very necessary within these episodes. I feel like I'll be just churning out question after question because they answer it so shortly. But yeah. Now that we're still on the topic of Creasol and pretty much what they've done within the community, such as like doing shows such as Fresh Out the Oven, starting series such as Beat Bars and Brushes, and events within that. Even first of all, huge shouts out to Graffiti. So even like having like guys like that are in those positions that showcase their art, showcase their work, showcase their artistry and who they are as people. It's very important to have that within like community bounds. Could you tell us how Creso not just helped within the artist community, but as well as the local community that they worked within?
Oh, absolutely. It was a hub for local artists. That's really how I got to meet so many different artists. I mean, I got to meet the fantastic Philip Hartley. I got to meet yourself, Burkle Lover, Tim, you know. Once again, it was for young up and coming artists in Baltimore to have a chance at getting their art out there, because that's what's really important. Nowadays, we have so many different open mics in the city, and I love the open mic scene. It's something that I've moved away from, as I've developed on my journey, because, open mics are great, but I'm very much like someone who wants to spread their wings all the time. So I'm always trying to figure out what other things can I do besides, open mic scene. I curate my own shows, and I love to travel. I have a fan base in Tanzania, East Africa, from when I traveled, which is a connection, another connection that I got through Creso, because Mia, met Mama Charlotte Hill O'Neal, whose husband, Pete O'Neal, started the Kansas City chapters of the Black Panthers in the 1970s. And I got a chance to travel with a good friend of mine named Aaron to East Africa to stay on this land, to learn this history, and to work with the young people there. In addition to that amazing opportunity, I was afforded a lot of other amazing opportunities out of it. And it's like one thing just it was like a domino effect. So one thing happened, and then this happened, and then that happened. And it's so important for artists as it pertains to open mics. It's like, yeah, go to an open mic, get yourself out there, get yourself heard. There's nothing wrong with playing at open mics. When you go to open mics, you play, you have an audience there, you can keep playing as much as you want. Sometimes people even know your music, which is excellent. But I always want to go beyond that, because after a time, you do notice in certain open mic scenes, it kind of gets cliquey. You got the same kind of group of people featuring. You got the same kind of group of people performing, the same people clapping for them. And they're kind of little like rusty when it comes to newcomers. And that's something I've witnessed, and I'm not the only one. But they really did open it up for all kinds of artists. You never saw the same people featuring. You never saw the same type of crowd. Sometimes it was a politic night. Sometimes we had, organizers come in and speak about politics, speak about community upliftment. Other times we would have performers come in and they would do their thing, and it would be leading up to an actual feature. So there were so many different things that were just phenomenal components of Creso. And I'm really blessed to have met someone like Mia, someone who's just very amazing in the work that she does and the way that she approaches community. So sister for life. And I'm just forever thankful for that community that was created out of that. So.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I think the one thing I really appreciate about the work that was done within Creso is that they kind of opened up, or at least contributed towards the open mic scene within Baltimore. And as a vocalist, as yourself, I wanted to get your perspective on working open mics. Whereas though you said earlier, like you can not necessarily never turn down an open mic, but there's nothing wrong with working an open mic.
Nothing wrong with it at all.
So could you tell us like how it is from the vocalist standpoint of working open mics?
Yeah. So, as far as an open mic comes, I try to be incognito, when I'm at shows, because again, like it is as much about me as it is about you. And I'm not a mic hogger. Like, again, when I have my shows, I have them for that reason. And I get on the mic and I do my thing. But I really love it for the audience to kind of just fill up the list. But a lot of times that doesn't happen. So sometimes you got to get the audience warmed up. And I have a big personality, so I love to talk to folks. I love to say hello to folks, and I love to reach out and touch. And these days that ain't happening. Right. No touching going on. But you know what I'm saying? Like when I was doing that real heavy, it would be amazing to just kind of like witness people. And as a vocalist that has grown in her journey as well, you get to see how people are building their craft. We also created that type of environment where it was like, listen, clap like Beyonce is walking up here. Like, I don't want to hear no, like, oh, like, give it up for Swayze. Yes. Woo! Swayze. You feel me? Like, give it up. Like, give it up. Like, again, like, these are people who you know. I mean, you spend $100 to go see Beyonce. Guess what? No problem with it. No problem with it at all. But support your people. Support your local artists. They look like you. I mean, they're doing the same thing as you. I mean, you have just as much as each other. Support your local artists. And that's really important. So, yeah, I mean, we had such a wonderful crowd. I mean, it's just so many wonderful moments after wonderful moments. Obviously you have things happen in between when you're, in groups and things. And of course, logistically speaking, things happen and, people grow apart. But there were so many like wonderful moments where we just worked in sync with a lot of things. And as a person who has curated all kinds of events, it's really important that you cater to your audience, because people don't have to be there, and they don't have to show up. I mean, it's 40,000 open mics in the city. You know what I mean? There are, so many different things people could be doing at their time, and they chose to be there with you. Start on time. If you can't start on time, hey, we're going to start soon. Showing up, letting people know, hey, I ain't got it tonight. Okay, I can slide you a little couple of hours tonight. You can get it for free. That type of stuff. You create that energy and that environment where you really just want people to feel good, and you want them to feel like they just feel that energy coming off you. And that's what made it so beautiful. That's what made it so beautiful.
If it's one thing I can really like straight up attest to, especially being at a couple of your events, the art of hosting is mastered through Ebony. Because honestly, as a host myself, I have to pay attention to other hosts and study that. And I feel as though when it comes to your style of hosting, it's you're at home, you're chilling, this is where you. So could you elaborate to us on your skills as a host within the events that you throw?
Yeah, so I credit it to the phenomenal teachers that I've had, especially when it comes to public speaking. I used to be, a little shy, growing up, I was a little shy, and that didn't stop me from doing my thing when I got in front of an audience, but I was really shy at first. But the way I got over that is by understanding the reason why I was doing it, and in connection to why it is something that I absolutely adore doing. It's one of those things that come like second nature for me. Like, I cannot say that you cannot do this type of thing without being a person who is affluent in public speaking. In addition to being able to connect with an audience. Being able to connect with an audience can be make or break. And you really have to know how to do that. You really have to know what to say. And you have to read the room, bitch. Read the room.
One more time.
Read the room, bitch. Read the room, okay? Know when the energy is moving on to another place. You can't linger in something for too long. You make mistakes, you grow and change, but you got to know when it's time to move forward. And it's really important, like, just like you said, like, you ask really good questions, like, know your audience. There are some current topics that are good. Listen, some things are off limits. Some things you got to be careful about. And you really have to know what to talk about. And that's really important, especially when you're, in front of people. I mean, people can create whatever kind of perception they want to create of you. And, and it's going to be created through what they hear, So what kind of host are you going to be? Are you going to be exciting? Are you going to be boring? Are you going to be an arrogant asshole? And I do believe that, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Intent over impact. I've had to learn that growing up, still learning it. But, you may intend for one thing and the impact is different. You live and you learn. You'll grow from it and you'll move on. So, yeah.
If I knew I was going to get this much game in an interview, I would have brought a pen and paper. Or
You can always hit me up.
I'm going to save it on IGTV, so I have homework to do. That's fun to do. Huge shouts out to Amorous for a great interview so far. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and answering these TMZ and your business questions. I'm gonna give a few shouts out to everybody that's in the live right now. Huge shouts out to LaKara Finally Speaks. Huge shouts out to Fashion Frenzy Foma. Huge shouts out to Candace, obviously. Huge shouts out to Diesel Juan. K. Woods, the meme of the hour apparently. Who shouts out? Who Camille's in the building? Oh man, we got celebrities in here. I would have cleaned up a little bit nicer. Jeez. So, Miss Ebony, next question
Yes.
for you is modeling and musing. I feel as though in the scene that we're in right now, there's a lot of models, there's not a lot of muses. And I feel as though when it comes to the art of being a muse and being that person that's very inspirational for art to be conceived out of,
Yeah.
you do it very well. So could
Thank
you
you.
tell the audience how to one be a muse, and two, the art of being the perfect muse?
That's so interesting that you say that. I just be being myself. I really could tell you, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that, but this is just me all day, every day. I mean, I like this very crucial time between I'm currently 28, and between that 28 and 30 bridge is really a refining time for you to start refining now who you are as a person. It really, I mean, people think it's at 21. It's not
It's
there,
not.
honey. You
It's
turn
not.
21, you turn 18, and you're still out here like, well, what the hell am I doing? Where am I going? And doesn't mean I have it all together, but this is a very crucial period where I would be needing to do a lot of work that I have done a little earlier, with coming to understand who I am as an individual. I say this all the time, that absolutely nothing that I accept about myself can be used to destroy or shame me. All the things that make me who I am, I live in it and I stand in it fully. And you got to be really unapologetic about who you are, because people like to look at you and they like to press upon all types of projections and things on you. People see you and they think all kinds of things. And guess what? I'm not trying to run after everyone who has a perception about me and change it. What I am trying to do is continue to discover and grow who I am. So I just invite everybody to just be themselves. Look really deep inside of the things that you like to do. I mean, you can never say that you've discovered and learned all the things that you've needed to learn. And for me, quite frankly, there are so many things that I've yet to learn, yet to touch. But I know very clearly who I am right now, and that I am unshaken by a lot of what I see. And it's really important for me to speak that, because your silence really won't protect you, on top of, as Audre Lorde says, on top of just taking charge of who you are. Nobody can tell you who you are. Nobody can create who you are but you. And even when you create who you are, people try to say you're somebody else. And guess what? I'm not that shit. Okay? You're not that shit. You are, whoever you want to be. You may have made some mistakes. We all have. And don't try to change people's perceptions about you. That's not your job. The problems that people have with you are about them. The projections that people have on you are about them. So, live in your skin. Live in your skin and love what you see. And that's just really the life that I'm living and have been living. And that doesn't mean that I don't go through feeling depressed or feeling, unpretty or whatever. It really just means that I know what I have to do and that I'm very focused on that mission. So that's just it.
Man, I was really not prepared for an intervention today. Like any intervention episodes or intervention interviews, like, what the fuck am I doing? I feel like since we're on the topic, we gotta tackle the whole like Saturn return thing, because as soon as you like 28, 20, I'm like, oh, here comes the trauma. So how is it in these 3-year periods or this era, whereas though like pretty much everything is kind of turning on its head, not just like outside world, but within the inside world.
Oh yeah.
You're kind of like shaking up all these, I guess, demons or past traumas, that into like this part 2 of life. So what would be this journey going for you?
So for me, it's about refining. So like right now, I'm in the period where like I need to continue to like chisel, shift, sift, you know, the art of sifting out all the negative things, and then being able to refine the areas. There are a lot of parts of me that I am still very much working on. And right now, it's really important for me to name those and to work on those. I'm not living in an identity crisis. And a lot of us in between that time frame are, because we didn't have really good childhoods. We had to grow up way earlier than what we needed to. And to be honest, a lot of times having a good childhood is not always about our parents, whether they were good parents or not. I've had phenomenal parents, but there were a lot of other things that happened along the journey that really kind of jaded my perception of who I was. A lot of it had to do with, of course, media. I mean, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Of course you can reinforce, but there's nothing you can do to stop it. You are walking down the street, you're hanging out with your friends, you are looking at a cell phone. And back in the day, of course, like we had MySpace. Before then, we had the flip phones. We didn't have a lot of the different ways you do like cyberbullying. It wasn't that big back in the day, but you did have people who were bullying you, in school, following you home. I used to get banked. I used to get beat up. One day I found my power, but yeah, I used to get teased for being dark skinned, for being plus size. I used to get just all types of horrible stuff happen to me on that journey. And to be honest, if I did not have really healthy adults and really empowering mentors in my life as I got older, I would be a fucking mess. And to be honest, it's really hard if you don't have really healthy people in your life. Even if you don't have a mama, like having a healthy auntie, having an uncle, having somebody who can say like they want to pour into you, they want to love you, and they want to treat you good. It's not about romantic love, but someone who really sees your potential and who you are to be, because you're worthy of love, even if you don't love yourself. I totally hate when people say that. If you don't love yourself, how can you love somebody else? As much as I hear that quote and I understand where it's coming from, me not being able to give love does not mean that I'm not worthy of it. It doesn't mean that anyone's not worthy of it, because, before you even understood what love was, somebody loved you. You know what I mean? And it's really a coming to. You got to take your time with it. You got to take your time with it, because every day you got so many things happening. You got so many things coming up against you. As a Black woman, I'm dark skinned, I'm plus size. So I'm marginalized in so mat different ways that other people are not marginalized. And I have to keep dealing with it. I have to deal with colorism. I have to deal with white supremacy and racism. I have to deal with fat phobia and sizeism. I have to deal with just all of these types of projections and things on me. And it's really difficult to stay, sane if you do not have a grasp on who you are. I'm telling you, it's something that'll really turn you upside down. You'll be making decisions and doing all types of shit. Like, you'll be destroying everybody. You won't just be destroying your own life. You'll be destroying everybody's life. When you do not live in your truth, and you do not love yourself, and you do not speak unapologetically, let me tell you, you will ruin other people's lives, because all of the negative perceptions you have about yourself, they bleed onto other people. You start treating people like shit. You start talking negative to people. You start doing horrible things to people, all because you didn't do the work. And a lot of times the work requires for you to really just step away from everything and everybody and get really deep in front of that mirror, turn off all the lights, and say, we got some fucking work to do, and we're going to start this shit right now. Absolutely. Right fucking now. And it's really about that. I mean, I still have those moments.
Absolutely. I feel like
take it off. Yeah.
I feel like it's one of those things where as though like it's not a battle that'll end, but a battle that'll continue. But you still got to make sure you're on the winning side, nonetheless.
You've got to.
Man, wonderful. Wonderful interview.
Yeah.
Ebony, for even dropping as much knowledge on us and pretty much giving us all this like pretty much game for not just
I appreciate it. Somebody gave it to me. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's like and that's the thing with game. Like it's something that's teachable. It's things that you have to learn, not just through in music, but in life as well.
Yes.
And if you really aren't teaching everybody else what's going on with it, are you really doing the due diligence? Are you really doing the work? Are you really like, if anything, not teaching game is like gatekeeping.
Yes. Amen. And that's not the energy we want. I like, you know, Brittany, if you're still up in here, like, we don't want gatekeepers. We don't want people who assume the position. Like, actually, we do want you to assume the position. Okay, that's a whole nother talk. That's a whole nother talk.
Oh, we can.
But we don't want you to assume that you got it all together and that you speak for everybody and everything. Okay, we don't like gatekeepers. We don't like people that like to sit up here and act like they are in charge of every fucking thing. You're not. You're not. You don't speak for all of us. Stop it. The ego.
Huge ego. Like, it's the ego versus spirit thing. I feel like that's a battle that a lot of musicians have, whereas though they kind of have that debate, whereas though they see what works, you know what I mean, instead of seeing what works for them. And
Yes.
a lot of times, whereas though they kind of put that mask on to pretend of doing things that they think that's going to work for them, but it's really just other people's jobs, and they don't really figure themselves out that way.
Yes, absolutely.
But of course, we gotta, switch topics. First, I gotta shout out to everybody that's in the live right now. Who shouts out?
Yes.
So, who shouts out to E Black? We got Bus Pimp in there. Great name, I think. Who shouts out to, of course, Candace, of course, Brit Universe. Since we're talking assume the position, you do a lot of work within sex work workshops and things like that. And over the time during COVID-19 and the shutdowns and things like that, there has been a shift within like working these areas. So could you tell us your experience within that shift, whereas though everybody's kind of outside, you can kind of have that clientele going on. Oh, is it frozen right now? This is the internet thing she was talking about. Hopefully we can get her back on real soon. Hopefully. Ebony, please don't. I was about to say she was sipping water for quite some time. But that's just me making that assumption. Jeez. Ab, if you're still here, can you type in? Because we can probably restart. We'll probably have to restart. Yeah, we'll probably restart. That's fine. Hopefully, Ab can jump right back in. Great interview so far, and huge shouts out to everybody that's been like in this live for so long. I didn't even touch most of the topics I thought I was going to cover, honestly, because most of the time I do the whole like I have the list of things that I'm going to be talking about, and most of the time the interview just kind of carries itself into that. Hopefully Ebony's still in here. She's not. I'll probably send another request. He shouts out to you guys though. Seriously, you guys do a lot of great things for me, and I need to be more appreciative. I mean, I was appreciative with the whole like giveaway thing because I love you guys, but I feel like the giveaway thing didn't work that well, so we're gonna like chill back on that. It actually is getting a little dark right now, so we'll probably have to like switch locations. If not, we could always just like wrap up in like the next 5 or 10. This is usually my wrap up time, but since she was a little late, I was gonna give a little, pushback on that. I sent a request. Hopefully, she can join. I don't want to assume that her phone is dead because that's a huge assumption to make. But like, geez, Louise, I don't, I don't know. I don't know. But how are you guys doing? You can chime in, drop some hearts, drop some likes, drop some comments. I feel as though. Oh, there you go. Wonderful. I'm assuming that that infamous internet that you were speaking on came to bite us.
Internet! I'm so sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. What happened?
The internet, like literally it paused and I had to reboot my phone. So again, so sorry for that. I hope that doesn't happen again, but let's just move along.
It's all good. It's all good. So we were switching gears, talking about sex work in 2020, where you
Yes.
do a lot of workshops within them. You do a lot of work within yourself, and since the quarantine happened, there's been pretty much like social distancing and spacing things out and things of that nature. So could you tell us your experience after dealing with this shutdown and kind of like staying on grounds with the work that you do?
Yeah, so you know what's amazing for me? I love OnlyFans, but I more so had my Instagram Amorous, because for me, I could bypass all the fees and stuff, and I have all types of subs that I dom, and I've only been doing that via video. So before the quarantine, I had subs and I was doming then, and that was something that was working out for me because I wasn't meeting up with my subs in person. I do have some subs that I would meet up with, but a lot of my work I usually do online and financial dominance. So I'm a findom. Of course, some people, refer to it as dominatrix and all that good stuff. And I really like, people love being humiliated. They love to feel like they're nothing, and then they love to cash app you after. So that's always good. But then I also do queer kink events where I invite folks out and we do demonstrations. We have like a dungeon party where it just goes down, like where you learn the art of impact play, which is one of my favorites. Impact play using paddles, using whips, using your hands. Breath play, being able to control your breath denial, orgasm denial, all of these different types of things that just kind of really, accentuate the energy. Yes, that has been the biggest piece for me because I love to have spaces where there are a lot of Black folks in there. Learning about kink, because a lot of times you hear about kink and BDSM, people think, all types of weird, ridiculous things. And guess what? Some of it is weird, ridiculous things, but for some people, they absolutely love it. And there's no shaming. But we want to curate spaces with Black folks. And that's what I've been doing. And I curated a couple events, and unfortunately I couldn't do it further because of the COVID shutdown. But I've been thinking about doing some stuff online, and just maybe like creating a community there. But for me, I didn't really lose out on anything because I had already been doing things online, which is safe for me. And of course, it's a great place to explore. Like, I can curate the environment. I can do whatever I want. I can make it however I want and tailor it to the experience. So that's something that I had been doing already. So.
So
Yeah.
pretty much already ahead of the curve.
Yeah, I was already ahead of the curve, honey. I was already there, So.
So I want to talk more about like the Black spaces within the BDSM spaces within the community. A lot of the time it has the whole taboo side of it, whereas though it's just completely like uttered through just like, I mean, like socio-religious like impacts and things like that, whereas though they kind of like not necessarily forbid it, but it's one of those social no's, So I want to talk to you more about like how to make things more open towards Black people in these spaces.
Yeah, so I think the biggest piece about it is like, we all have kinks. We all have things that we love to do in the bedroom and outside of the bedroom. Sex for me, for the past, since I became an adult, has rarely ever just been about penetration, because there are so many different ways to orgasm, and masturbation is a big piece. I actually wrote a piece about masturbation that will be launched in a online zine. So proud of that. And I'll be on a panel this Saturday discussing that, called A Tenderness by Be More Rooted. And it is a wonderful zine that is coming out. And I talk about masturbation, and of course it's for women, those who consider themselves to be women and those who present as women, the way in which I talk about discovering the orgasm through, rubbing your clitoris and things of that nature, and touching your breasts and affirming and all of that stuff. So it's really important for us to just create these environments like, hey, like, there's so many sex positive pages and sex positive organizations. Afrosexology is a fantastic one. And it's something that, you know, people should follow, because we all have questions about this. Like, when we are experiencing any type of sexual activity, particularly women have been oppressed for so long sexually that, you know, it's hard for women to even say, oh, I didn't come from that. I didn't orgasm. Can you like get hard again, or like, you know, can you finger me, or can you rub my clitoris, or can you give me some head, like, you know. And that stuff seems weird for a lot of people, but, you know, I can't say that that has been my experience now, because coming into that, being able to say like, oh, as a free woman, you know, don't ask me if I came, because if you gotta ask,
Probably didn't do it.
you didn't do it, buddy. Okay, you know. And I'm queer, so, you know, I love women and I love men. And also, I very much feel like a lot of times you need to create the spaces. You need to create the conversations. I'm someone who is a creator. If I don't see it, I create it.
Absolutely.
You know, I can't, you know, sit in a space where I'm just like, oh, they didn't offer me a seat at the table. Nope, I'm making my own table and I'm putting the cheers out there. So I would just say, you know, continue to create the environment you want to see. Again, porn, you know, doesn't necessarily have to be your go-to, because I will tell you this, and I will tell you again, that porn is full of editing and cut and paste. You, like, sometimes the amateur is not, but for the most part, it is. So you really have to, like, be particular with the type of stuff that you are taking in, and be open with your partner. You like something, you want them to do something. Like, a lot of women, you know, like to be choked. A lot of men like to do the choking. And some of us want to pass the hell out. You know, some of us want to gag. Some of us want tears come out. I know I want tears coming out of my mouth. I want my damn makeup to be running, okay? That's, if I'm going down and ain't tears coming out my eyes, then what am I even doing there? What am I even doing there? You understand what I'm saying? So that's just me, but, you know, I can say that because I'm comfortable in that, but some people aren't. And some, you don't have to be comfortable to say it and speak it, whatever. You don't have to, but you do need to if you're in the bed. You know, you shouldn't have anybody sleeping with you or coercing you into something that you do not want to do. You should really be in control of your entire body. Don't let no man be all over you, sweaty, humping on you, and you ain't come. Nah, sis. Nah, that's not what we doing. It's not what we doing.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
I think last question in terms of like the work that we do. Not we, because I don't do it, but like the work that you do.
Yeah, yeah.
How is it working with not necessarily like not men that you know, but like how do they support you within the work that you do without it seeming like, oh, I'm trying to, like, you know, say advance or anything like that?
Oh my God, you asked that question. Listen, I've had a lot of men who approached me on some, I want to create with you, and deep down inside, they were just like, they was waiting for that opportunity. But no, I have some really good men in my life. You know, I have to say, I have some fantastic men in my life who are ahead of the curve, you know, and they do support that. Of course, you know, I can cultivate that environment, but absolutely, absolutely. The DMs are bustling and rustling all day and all night, you know, and whatever. It's, you know, it's going to happen anyway. And I mean, I do all types of things. So I had like a lingerie haul, which I was paid by a brand to be able to showcase a lot of their lingerie. And then I did a lingerie giveaway, and it was fantastic. And this is like paid work. This is like stuff that I'm getting paid to do. But on top of that, I absolutely love doing it. I love feeling sexy. I love looking sexy. My name is Amorous Ebony. So, you know, it's, you know, it's all a part, you know. So I can only assume that people would hear my name and assume all types of things. But like I always say, that just because my door is open doesn't mean that's an invitation. You know, if you were walking down the street and you saw my door open, would you walk through it? No. So don't feel like you have the space to be able to just walk in, slide in. This is about me. This is about my journey. I don't post pictures. I don't look sexy for nobody but my damn self. So, you know, I'm not out here trying to catch, you know, something and pull it back in. For some people, they may think that that's the case, but you know, if you have a patriarchal mindset and you're full of misogynoir, then of course you would think that this is about you, but it's not. Yeah, I control it when I can. I control it when I can, and people do really well when I talk about it, but sometimes I can't continue relationships because people are just like enthralled. But I don't necessarily attract men that want flings. It just hasn't happened in a really long time. You know, it doesn't mean that doesn't happen. Of course, they're around, they come, but I always hear from men that they're so interested. They want to learn more about what I do. They want to talk. They want to have coffee. And, you know, I'm not always into that energy. So, you know, it's not where I'm at. So
It's not always the thing that's, you know, that's open, so to speak.
no, never. Yeah.
So, first of all, huge shouts out to Amorous for a great interview. I feel like one of the things that I really learned here is it's a job. It's a job just like anything else, you know what I mean? And it should be respected as a job. So, yeah. Amorous, Ebony, do you have any last words, any last promotions, any last propaganda for the people?
I just want to say this has been so beautiful. It has been so amazing. I am so happy to have been on here tonight. You know, visit my site, amorousobony.com. Subscribe to my emailing list. You can get up to date on all the things I have going on. Check out my Amorous page. Tomorrow, I do have a IG live chat with Brittany Oliver, who's a very good friend and comrade of mine. We do a lot of work around Black Women and Girls Agency, Say Her Name, supporting Black women survivors of sexual assault and abuse. And we will be talking tomorrow about how Black men can uplift and support Black women, especially during this time where you have a lot of the focus on George Floyd. And as you can see with Breonna Taylor, you know, it's been 4 months going on 5, and still there has been no arrests. And Sandra Bland's murderers have not been arrested, and Aiyana Stanley Jones, and so on and so forth. So there are so many things that and people ask us as well to talk about it. So we take that, you know, energy from the audience as well. So we'll be talking a little bit more about how Black men can stand firm with Black women. And if you really support us and you love us and you uplift us, here's what you will do to make it known that you're not going to tolerate the toxic masculinity. And that's not who you are. And that's, you know, and you're someone who loves and protects us, and you see us outside of being sexual, you know. And that you want to protect us just because we are who we are. So, you know, doing that tomorrow. So, yeah.
We're excited for it. I'm excited for it, definitely.
Thank you.
Huge shouts out to everybody that's in the live, whether it's 1 second, 1 minute, or the entire show. Huge shouts out to IG for not completely screwing up.
Yeah, my phone, though.
Yeah, like, I wasn't putting it on you because, trust me, IG could have done a lot of better job with that. Yeah. But nonetheless, coming up next tomorrow, we have Dre Thompson on. We're going to be talking about a few things, talking about his band, talking about things that he does for just the community in general, such as like opening up for like shows and opening up for artists and things like that. So that's good. Yeah, I think I covered tomorrow's episode. We already covered what's next for you. We covered that. I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Yes.
So, from your host, Score F. Swayze, and our wonderful guest of episode 78, Amorous, Ebony, once again, thank you very much for joining me and having me ask these questions to you. I mean, we could have more time, but honestly, I try to shorten it to 45 minutes. Just if you have a question, you can go ahead and ask.
Okay, someone has a question. Yeah.
You can go ahead and shoot that out real quick.
I appreciate all the love and support, viewers who don't know me and viewers who do. Thank you so much for getting into the chat. I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate you for hopping in and supporting. So, yes. And thank you for the cell phone gods for me not cutting out again. I'm so sorry that happened.
Yeah.
Internet's been so wonky. And I'm like, I have the iPhone 11 Pro Max. What the fuck, man?
The flex.
It's trash.
I'm honestly like one of the smartest purchases I've made through this quarantine. Like right before everything completely shut down, I bought like an iPhone 7 and just like kept it as is, and it's pulling through. But like,
I love it.
I'll
Yeah.
probably upgrade soon.
Yeah, because they do that. They do that. They do something to the phones and then you have to get another. I really got it for pictures. I mean, I take my pictures on there, I do my work on there, and the pictures come out fantastic. And that's obviously why I needed it, because I haven't gotten $1,000 to buy a nice camera just yet. So currently saving for a beautiful Telefunken mic that I seen. So I can't wait for that. Let's see. Can you read that question?
Gotcha. So, do you have advice on how Black women can express themselves in various spaces / industries? A lot of Black women are shy when it comes to being open about sexuality.
Absolutely. So, did Brit Universe ask that question?
Yes. It
Okay.
wasn't your.
Yes. Right. No. I figured I just didn't want to stroll up. But no. That's a phenomenal question. There are so many different ways to do this work, at home. Like when I tell people all the time, like affirmations, definitely being able to, like, again, it starts with yourself. If you have a mirror, strip all your clothes off and get naked and really study your body and write a love poem to yourself. Talk about all the things that you love about yourself and really stand in it. There are so many different ways to discover all types of kinks and things that you like. If you have a Fet Life is it's a website for kinksters. You can join closed groups and all that stuff. You don't have to put your real name or anything. You don't have to put real pictures up. But there are ways for you to connect with other groups and other people without being, open and boisterous about it. And that's totally fine. You can do it in the privacy of your own homes. I always recommend Audre Lorde's uses of the erotic, which is an excellent piece, because from where it stands as it pertains to myself, eroticism, all the things that Black women have been oppressed about, how we look, sexually, how we look, that we're only supposed to be here for the sexual pleasure of men, and take it back even further, being sexually abused and raped. They like to say mistress, but no, we were being raped by the oppressor, and being able to take back all the things that oppressed your body, from saying that you are not sexual, that you cannot be, that you can't feel pain, that you can't feel all these things. It is really a very deep unlearning that Black women have to come to. And that's really what this journey has been about for me in particular. So there are a lot of books. So definitely Uses of the Erotic by Audre Lorde is excellent, because the sensual cannot live without. Every woman can be sensual. And people think that that's about what you wear. People think that's about how naked you can be. People think that's about showing your body. It's not. A lot of times being sensual, being sexy goes far beyond what you look like. It is everything to do with inside of you, how you feel and how it projects outward. So that is really, really, really a deep coming to and learning as you continue to unlearn everything that people said that your body had to be. Again, being empowered in your sexuality is about a reclaiming, because again, a lot of Black women have to act like they came from terrible sex.
Right.
You like a lot of Black women have to do that, and a lot of people have to understand and learn that these journeys that we have through sex are really vulnerable and emotional and open, and we want to be able to control our own bodies. Masturbating is so very important. Masturbating teaches you a hell of a lot about yourself. There are, all types of things that you can do with your body, all types of things you can learn about your body before you experience other people. And I really do invite you to really learn and dismantle all that stuff.
Absolutely. IG's actually giving me the wrap-up sign with the 30
Oh, all
seconds.
that. Okay.
Yeah. Huge shouts out to Amorous, Ebony for giving me a huge shouts out to you guys for coming through. And as always, wash your hands, wear a mask, and stay in the house. Thank you, Ebony. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a blessing. Take care.
You too.